The ocean pulls back, not by a few steps, but by hundreds of meters. Boats tilt sideways. Fish flop on wet sand. People walk forward, phones raised, filming what looks like a miracle. Minutes later, a wall of water appears on the horizon. In another place, a driver sees water covering the road. It doesn't look deep, maybe 20 centimeters. He presses the gas. In another city, a tornado siren blares. Someone runs under a highway overpass, convinced it's solid protection. Natural disasters don't usually kill people instantly. Their first mistake does. Again and again, survivors describe the same pattern. They hesitated. They underestimated. They believed something that sounded logical, but wasn't. And the worst part? Most of these mistakes are predictable. If you want to understand how the world actually works, from disasters to the hidden psychology that shapes survival, consider subscribing, because knowing this before it happens might be the difference. Today, we're breaking down the most common mistakes that kill people in natural disasters, and exactly what you should do instead. Segment 10. Tornado. When a tornado approaches, many people think one thing: find something solid. That's why some run under highway overpasses. Concrete feels safe. It isn't. When wind is forced through a narrow opening like an overpass, it accelerates. This is known as the Venturi effect. Wind speed increases. Debris becomes high-speed projectiles. Under an overpass, you're not shielded. You're inside a wind tunnel. What actually kills people in tornadoes isn't usually the wind itself. It's flying debris. So what should you do? If you're indoors, go to the lowest floor, a small interior room with no windows, a bathroom or closet. Get under something sturdy and protect your head and neck. If you're outside with no building nearby, lie flat in a low ditch or depression. Cover your head, stay below ground level. Do not stay in your car, do not hide under bridges, and never assume concrete automatically means safety. But at least with tornadoes, you often see them coming. The next disaster is far less visible. Segment 9. Wildfire. When people think of wildfires, they picture flames, towering walls of orange, trees exploding, fire racing across hills. So they wait. They watch the horizon. They tell themselves, it's still far. But in many wildfire deaths, flames never even reach the victim. Smoke does. Wildfire smoke contains carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, and microscopic particles that penetrate deep into the lungs. Oxygen levels drop. Carbon monoxide binds to hemoglobin in your blood more effectively than oxygen does. You don't feel dramatic pain. You feel tired, dizzy, confused. Then you lose consciousness. That's why evacuation orders matter, not because the fire is at your door, but because the air will betray you first. So what should you do? If authorities issue an evacuation order, leave immediately. Do not wait to see how it develops. Fires can shift direction in minutes. If you're trapped indoors, close all windows and doors. Seal gaps if possible. Stay low to the ground where air is slightly clearer. Use a damp cloth over your nose and mouth if you must move through smoke. Do not drive into heavy smoke unless absolutely necessary. Visibility drops to zero quickly. The fire may look slow. The air is not. But smoke isn't the only invisible killer. Cold can be just as deceptive. Segment 8. Blizzard. In a blizzard, instinct tells you to move. Keep walking, keep generating heat, don't stop. Movement feels like survival, but in extreme cold, sweating is dangerous. When moisture forms in your clothing, it increases heat loss dramatically. Evaporation pulls warmth from your body. Wet fabric conducts heat away faster than dry air. Your core temperature begins to drop. Hypothermia doesn't feel dramatic at first. It feels like fatigue, clumsiness, mild confusion. Then decision-making deteriorates. People remove layers. They walk in circles. They lie down, and they don't get back up. So what should you do? First, get out of the wind. Wind strips heat from your body faster than cold air alone. Even a ditch, a cluster of trees, or the downwind side of a structure helps. Second, stay dry. If you're sweating, reduce movement. Insulate yourself from the ground using backpacks, branches, or anything that creates separation. If stranded in a vehicle, stay inside. Run the engine periodically for heat, but ensure the exhaust pipe is clear of snow to prevent carbon monoxide buildup. In blizzards, survival isn't about constant motion. It's about controlled energy. But cold weather kills in another way, even when there's no snow at all. Segment 7. Heat wave. Heat doesn't feel like an emergency. There's no shaking ground, no roaring wind, no sirens, just sunlight. That's why heat waves kill quietly. Many victims say the same thing before collapsing. I'm fine. Heat stroke doesn't begin with drama. It begins with overheating that your body can no longer regulate. When internal temperature rises above safe limits, the brain's control systems start to fail. Sweating may stop, skin becomes hot and dry, confusion sets in. At that point, damage is already happening. In major European heat waves, thousands of deaths occurred indoors. Not because people were outside working, but because they underestimated indoor heat. So what should you do? Stay in air-conditioned spaces whenever possible. If you don't have one, seek public cooling centers, malls, libraries, anywhere temperature is controlled. Drink water consistently, not just when you feel thirsty. Thirst lags behind dehydration. Avoid physical activity during peak heat hours, especially between late morning and late afternoon. Watch for early warning signs: headache, dizziness, nausea, unusual fatigue. Heat doesn't attack loudly. It waits for you to ignore it. But at least heat gives you time. Floods don't. Segment 6. Flood. A road covered in water doesn't look terrifying. It looks shallow, calm, manageable. Many flood fatalities happen inside vehicles. Just 15 to 30 centimeters of moving water can make a car lose traction. At around 60 centimeters, most vehicles begin to float. Once floating, steering is gone. Water pressure pushes sideways. The car rotates. Doors jam. Electrical systems fail. Panic sets in. So what should you do? If you see water covering a road, turn around. Do not test depth. Do not assume your vehicle is heavy enough. Turn around, don't drown isn't dramatic advice. It's physics. If you're on foot, avoid walking through moving water. It only takes about 15 centimeters to knock an adult off balance if the current is strong. If you are swept away, float on your back. Keep your feet pointed downstream to protect your head from impact. Move diagonally toward the edge of the current, not directly against it. Floodwater is rarely just water. It carries debris, sewage, chemicals, and sharp objects. And floods aren't always caused by storms. Sometimes the ground itself is what moves. Segment 5. Earthquake. When the ground starts shaking, instinct screams, run. Get outside, move. But many earthquake injuries occur during that movement. Falling glass, collapsing facades, loose objects, stairways that buckle. The danger zone is often near the exterior of buildings. That's why emergency agencies promote a simple phrase: drop, cover, hold on. Drop to your hands and knees. Cover your head and neck under sturdy furniture if available. Hold on until the shaking stops. Do not run toward exits during active shaking. Most modern injuries come from falling debris, not total building collapse. If you're outside, move away from buildings, streetlights, and power lines. Stay in open space. After the shaking stops, then assess evacuation carefully. Watch for aftershocks. Earthquakes don't give warnings, but sometimes the ocean does. Segment 4. Tsunami. When the ocean suddenly pulls back, people step forward. It looks surreal. The seabed exposed, boats stranded, fish flapping in the sand. It feels like something rare and worth witnessing. It's a warning. A tsunami is not a big wave. It is a massive displacement of water, often triggered by undersea earthquakes. The energy moves across the ocean at jetliner speeds. When it reaches shallow water near shore, it rises and compresses. The first surge may not even be the largest. Many fatalities occur because people wait. They film. They collect shells. They try to understand what's happening. By the time they see the wave clearly, it's too late. So what should you do? If you are near the coast and feel strong or long-lasting earthquake shaking, do not wait for official alerts. Move inland and uphill immediately. If you see the ocean recede rapidly and unusually far, treat it as an automatic evacuation signal. Do not return to the shoreline after the first wave. Tsunamis often come in multiple surges, spaced minutes apart. If you are caught in the water, grab onto a large floating object and hold on. Avoid being near buildings or vehicles that can crush you in the current. Height is survival. Distance is survival. Hesitation is not. But some disasters don't strike in one violent moment. Some surround you for hours. Segment 3. Hurricane. When hurricanes approach, one myth keeps repeating: open the windows to equalize pressure. It sounds logical. If pressure builds inside, maybe the house explodes outward. But modern structural damage in hurricanes is rarely caused by internal pressure imbalance. It's caused by wind entering through broken openings and lifting the roof off. Opening windows makes this worse. Wind carries debris. Broken glass creates entry points. Once wind gets inside, uplift forces increase dramatically. So what should you do? Stay inside in a small interior room on the lowest level of the building, away from windows. Reinforce windows ahead of time if possible, shutters or boards. Prepare supplies. At least 3 days of water, non-perishable food, flashlights, batteries, a battery-powered radio. Do not go outside during the eye of the storm. Calm winds may return suddenly and violently. Hurricanes are loud and visible, but some disasters move slower and last longer. Segment 2. Landslide. After heavy rain, cracks form in the ground. Trees lean slightly. Water seeps through soil that once felt firm. Then the slope gives way. When landslides occur, many people try to run straight downhill, following gravity, but the center of the slide moves fastest. The edges are slower. Running directly downward keeps you in the most powerful part of the flow. So what should you do? Move diagonally across the slope, away from the main path of debris. If escape isn't possible and you are caught, curl into a ball and protect your head and neck. Try to stay near the surface of the moving debris if you can. After heavy rainfall in mountainous areas, remain alert to cracking sounds, rumbling, or sudden changes in water flow. Landslides are fast. But there is one final threat that kills more people globally than most dramatic disasters combined, and it doesn't look dramatic at all. Segment 1. Extreme cold. Extreme cold waves kill millions worldwide over time, not through spectacle, but through slow failure. Many victims are indoors, alone, thinking they're simply tired. Hypothermia begins subtly, intense shivering, clumsiness, mild confusion. Then shivering stops, which is not improvement, it's decline. The brain loses the ability to regulate temperature, judgment fades. Some people paradoxically remove clothing, feeling falsely warm. Then they fall asleep. So what should you do? Stay indoors whenever possible during extreme cold warnings. Dress in layers, including a windproof outer layer. Cover hands, feet, head. Heat escapes rapidly there. If stranded outside, get out of the wind. Even a small barrier helps. Insulate yourself from the ground using branches, clothing, backpacks, anything that creates separation. Keep clothing dry. Moisture accelerates heat loss. Recognize early signs of confusion in yourself and others. Cold doesn't rush you. It convinces you everything is fine. Across all of these disasters, the pattern is the same. People don't usually die because they are weak. They die because they misjudge the threat. They wait. They underestimate. They assume they have more time. Survival often depends on something simple. Act early. Move away from curiosity. Trust the warning signs. The first 60 seconds matter more than the next 60 minutes. If you made it this far, you now understand more about disaster survival than most people do before one hits. Subscribe if you want to stay ahead of reality, not react to it after it's already too late. And think carefully. If something unexpected happened right now, would your first instinct save you or betray you?